You're right in the middle of a major plugin update or launching your page builder, and suddenly the screen goes completely blank. Your site halts, and you're staring at the dreaded allowed memory size exhausted fatal error. If you search for a solution, almost every guide tells you to do the exact same thing. Open your wp-config file and paste in a higher memory limit. But on modern hosting, that edit often does absolutely nothing. We are going to bypass that file entirely. Instead, I'll show you how to manually raise the true server memory limit yourself in under 60 seconds without waiting on a support ticket. To get started, open two browser tabs side by side, your WordPress admin dashboard in one and your hosting cPanel in the other. Getting your site back online requires stepping away from WordPress software tweaks and taking direct control of the underlying server configuration. Let's find your actual limit. Methodical. Looking at your WordPress dashboard, navigate to Tools, then click Site Health. Switch to the Info tab, and finally open the Server dropdown. Scroll down to the row labeled PHP Memory Limit and check the exact number listed there. That number is the absolute ceiling enforced by your server. Even if you typed a massive number into your wp-config file earlier, WordPress cannot override the server limit displayed right here. The massive byte number you saw in the fatal error, like 134,217,728, is simply your current 128 megabyte ceiling written out in long form. It identifies the exact wall you hit. Diagnosing this hard server restriction is the mandatory first step. Now that we know your actual cap, we can properly fix it. To understand why the configuration edits fail, we need to look at how modern shared hosting operates. It relies on a strict two ceilings architecture. This diagram shows the first ceiling, the PHP memory limit. This dictates the absolute maximum RAM available to a single isolated PHP request, like loading one page or running one update. When you edit the wp-config file, WordPress is only asking for memory. If it asks for more RAM than this first server ceiling allows, the request is immediately blocked. Then we have the second overarching ceiling, the LVE-pmem container cap. This restricts the total combined RAM available to your entire hosting account at any given moment. If you have a heavy page builder session running in the background at the exact same time as live visitor traffic hits your site, all of those tasks pool their memory usage together. Exceeding this secondary container cap forces the server to start killing processes to protect itself. For your live visitors, this shows up as frustrating 503 or 500 errors. True site stability means your server configuration must successfully pass under both the per request limit and the total account-wide limit at the same time. Let's bypass the WordPress software limits entirely. Switch over to your cPanel tab. Go to the search bar, type INI, and open the Multi-PHP INI Editor tool. In the editor, select your specific domain name from the drop-down menu and scroll down to locate the memory limit configuration row. We're going to update this value based on your specific needs. Type in 256M for standard WooCommerce sites or 512M for resource-heavy Elementor Pro setups. Click Apply at the bottom. Then jump right back to your WordPress Site Health tab and refresh the page. You will see the Site Health dashboard now displays your newly increased limit, providing concrete proof the operation worked. Bypassing the CMS software to directly manipulate the server layer guarantees immediate, verifiable resource control. There is a critical risk to this fix, maxing out your per-request memory without leaving enough account-wide headroom for your incoming traffic. This data table illustrates the AHosting plan ceilings. Bronze caps at 512 megabytes, silver at 1024, and gold at 2048. In a danger scenario, setting a 512 megabyte PHP limit on a bronze plan meets a container cap that is also exactly 512 megabytes. With zero headroom, the entire website drops offline for the public the exact moment an administrator opens a heavy page builder. A technically correct PHP memory limit becomes a fatal liability if it consumes 100% of your account's physical infrastructure. Now, return to your dashboard and execute the original plugin update or page builder task that caused the initial crash. It should complete smoothly. If fatal errors persist even with a massive limit increase, look for a broken or leaking plugin. These defects crash a site regardless of how much memory you provide. There is also an absolute boundary to shared hosting. When your legitimate daily tasks continuously demand more than a 2048 megabyte container, a dedicated VPS becomes the only logical upgrade. Commanding these server limits replaces guesswork with direct control over your site's physical infrastructure.